Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I'm an alcoholic, and today I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I could not be any more grateful. I had a good day yesterday. Got to go run around, do some service work. Got to hang out with one of my buddies. He and I went and had some lunch, fellowship, hit a couple meetings. We were in a meeting last night, and someone was sharing, and it struck me. And this is one of the great things about meetings I absolutely love. I take notes, and somebody will say something, and I'll start taking notes on something using what they just said. And I'll start taking notes on, and that's what I wanted to share about today. When I was in the madness, before I got sober, I used to swear to the heavens, swear by the heavens, that I didn't care what people thought about me. I just didn't care. You didn't like me? Well, that's all right. You're allowed to not like me. Then, of course, when I came into the program, started working with my qualified sponsor, started taking me through the steps that required me to do a good hard look at myself, do a thorough inventory. There were many things that became abundantly clear, and several of the things that became abundantly clear to me was I didn't love myself. I had no self-value, no self-esteem, no self-confidence, no self-worth. The only self I had was self-centeredness, really. But I didn't love myself. I didn't even know who I was. I was so far removed. The person I was so far removed from the person I thought that I was in my head anyway. So I didn't love myself. And it took me back to what Bill wrote. I remember that when I first read this on page 2 of the big book. He says, I was out to prove to the world that I was important. So up to that point, that's how I've been living my life. Talking out both sides of my mouth. When I was in the madness, I just wanted to prove that I was important. At the same time, I didn't care what people thought about me. Those are two diametrically opposed viewpoints. I mean, after all, if I don't care what people think about me, then why in the blue hell would I be trying to prove to these same people that I'm important? The deeper question is, why was I trying to prove to these same people I was important whenever I didn't even feel important myself? Again, I had no self-value, no self-worth. I didn't feel like I could enrich, anybody's lives. I didn't feel like I could add value and bring value to other people's lives because I couldn't even do that to myself. I couldn't show people true love and compassion because I couldn't even do that for me. And that's what to me is one of the biggest miracles about a 12-step program, for me specifically being AA anyway, because I got to relearn who I was. Now granted, don't get me wrong, that's one of the biggest challenges I see with newcomers is they're afraid. They're afraid to look at themselves in the mirror. They will try to distract. They'll say, yeah, I'm looking at the mirror, but I'm really looking over here, right? They're afraid. And it's easy for them to try to look somewhere else and try to put something else. Like I've said this before, that self-centeredness, that was the only self I had. I'd put my self-centeredness in front of my lack of self-value and self-worth, right? I see newcomers come in all the time and they start working the program, but they're just terrified to look at themselves. I was terrified too. I was absolutely mortified because, again, the person I had become was so far removed from the person I thought I was. I thought I was still the person from way back when, and that just wasn't the case. I had allowed myself to become somebody entirely different. Well, then I got afraid. What happens if I get to know this person that I used to be, and I don't like him? See, I came up with every reason under the sun to not look at myself, to not observe myself, and not do that 4-step, not take that good, hard look at myself. But I'm glad I did. I'm glad I did because that's when I realized my problem is not drinking, just as the big book says. It's a thinking problem. We don't have a drinking problem. We don't have a drugging problem. We have a thinking problem. All right? My problem is not drinking. Drinking was just but a symptom of the problem. The problem was I didn't know how to love me. And more conclusively, I didn't even know who I was. And that was the benefit, that was the miracle of my recovery journey, is I got to learn who I am. I got to know my likes, my dislikes, but I had to face it. I had to look it head on. I had to look it in the mirror. I had to listen and have those difficult conversations with my sponsor. And my sponsor told me these things straight up. There were times my sponsor would tell me things and I'm like, I don't agree with you, but I understand the rationale. And I'd have to go home and digest it. And then come to find out, shit, he was right. that was one of the most remarkable periods of my life because I got to learn who I was, my likes, my dislikes, my little nuances about me, my quirks, if you will. I got to learn who I was in a really short amount of time, if all things considered, in a very short amount of time. You know, we can't sit there and say that we don't care what people think. At the same time, we're trying to prove that we are important to these very people that we say that we don't care what they think. Two diametrically opposed viewpoints. I want to encourage you today, though, quit trying to worry about making other people think you're important, like Bill Wilson writes, and start worrying about making yourself feel important. Start worrying about getting to know who you are, getting to know your likes and your dislikes, getting to know your quirks and your little nuances. Start getting to know you. Start getting to know you so then you could turn around and start enriching other people's lives and bringing value and meaning to other people's lives. And that was one of the great things that I really enjoyed about yesterday was because I got to make people happy yesterday. And to me, you can't put a price tag on that. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. We have Crosstalk this week every Tuesday and Friday night at 7 o'clock, 5747 Pea Ridge Road in Huntington. If you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, come on down, hang out with us. I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to like it. It's unlike any meeting you've ever been to. It's not a formal traditional meeting, and that's okay. But just come on down, hang out with us. I have a sneaking suspicion you're going to have a hell of a good time. So we'll be talking again soon. Remember, guys, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.